Hi, I'm Shelley Eunice, the producer of Vibrations and Manifestations podcast. Before we begin today's episode, I want to share something personal. This week, my mom transitioned into the non-physical after a 3-year journey following a debilitating stroke. She was a vibrant woman, sharp, loving, and strong. But after the stroke, she struggled deeply with accepting what had happened. She wanted to go back in time, back to the body she had before, and the pain of not being able to reconcile that loss, that change, was so heavy for her. She was in a wheelchair. She had lost mobility on her left side. Rising from bed and crossing the room unassisted became impossible. Occasionally, I think of her when I walk across the room, and I remember how much grace it takes to keep going when the body doesn't cooperate. I also lost my first husband, Kevin, on June 4th, 2023. He faced cancer with quiet courage. He didn't complain. He took care of himself the best he could and asked for very little. I often wish I could have done more for him. But what I've learned, what I carry with me now, is that asking for help, when done with love, can be a powerful way to connect. It's not weakness. It's trust. It's care. So today, as we talk about health, healing, and the myths that hold us back, I want to say this to you from the deepest place in my heart. Appreciate the health you have, even if it's not perfect, even if there are challenges, because this moment, this breath, this body, it's yours. It's a gift, and you deserve to care for it with kindness and self-compassion. Not judgment. Let's honor where we are. Let's strive for more wellness, not from shame, but from love. And let's do it together. Thank you for being here with me today. Now, let's get into the episode with Alicia and Jared.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Jared. Welcome, everyone, to Vibrations and Manifestations.
Today, we're going to crack open a stack of sources to dive into a topic that, well, it touches all of us. Health and healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is part 3 of our myth-busting series.
That's right. We've tackled money myths, love myths, and now health, which feels, I don't know, maybe the most personal one.
It can be, definitely. Really vulnerable, sometimes confusing.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we're approaching this with, a lot of compassion, trying to bring some clarity.
Exactly. Our mission today is to really unpack these sources we've gathered. We've got spiritual teachings, scientific research, personal stories, even specific techniques.
A real mix.
Yeah, to get a well-informed perspective on this mind-body healing stuff. We want to spot those common myths that might be holding you back.
And find some practical tools, hopefully. Things you can actually use.
Right. We're looking at how all these different fields, different perspectives kind of converge on this idea that our internal state is, well, huge when it comes to our well-being.
It really is.
Yeah.
We're digging into some common beliefs around health that might, frankly, be holding you back.
Yeah. And we should say up front, health is such a sensitive topic. It's so easy, I think, in our culture to sort of internalize blame when things feel off, physically or mentally.
That feeling like, oh, I must be doing something wrong, or, I'm not doing enough spiritual work.
Exactly. So our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is really to explore health and healing from, well, different angles. We're drawing on insights that kind of bridge science and maybe spirit.
Yeah, looking at it all with compassion and hopefully some clarity.
Think of it as navigating some tricky territory, maybe looking at a few different maps, finding some, practical takeaways.
Sounds good. Now, the essential disclaimer, always. This is for education, for insight. It is absolutely not medical advice.
Cannot stress that enough. Always, always talk to your licensed healthcare provider about any health concerns or before changing any treatments.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay, put that clear.
Okay, so let's get into it. We wanted to start by sharing a bit of our own context. Not to make it all about us, but because, honestly, we figure a lot of you listening might hear yourselves in these stories.
Yeah, I think that's important. Shared experience.
For me, navigating anxiety, depression over the years, and, being honest about sometimes needing medication like Adderall for a long time, that just felt like failure. Like I was betraying some belief I had about natural healing or manifesting things differently. The story in my head was, if I were really aligned, I wouldn't feel this way. I wouldn't need this.
Oh, I know that feeling, that idea that needing outside help somehow cancels out your inner work or your spiritual path. It's so common.
It really is. But exploring these ideas
Yeah.
from different teachers, different researchers, it brought this understanding that symptoms aren't a betrayal. Feeling like something's wrong isn't actually how healing tends to work.
Right.
It's described more as a conversation, like this dynamic thing between your body and your spirit. And the best way to respond is with compassion, not judgment.
That shift is huge.
It was massive for me. Moving away from trying to just like vibe my way out of hard days towards actually embracing real self-soothing
Yeah.
and getting support I needed, whatever that looked like.
And realizing it's okay to blend things.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual practice and medical support or therapy. It's not an either. It often works best together, addressing the whole you.
Totally. It's this ongoing conversation.
Yeah, that really resonates with my own stuff. For years, I had this struggle with body dysmorphia and just intense control issues around food and weight. I remember trying so hard to be this perfect manifestation robot, forcing the positive thoughts, the affirmations about loving my body, doing all the right healthy things.
While inside, you were still fighting that battle.
Oh, completely. Doing all the external stuff, but honestly, afraid to even look in the mirror sometimes.
Wow.
And the real turning point, looking back and also reflecting on these ideas we're discussing, it wasn't another visualization technique. It wasn't trying harder to control things.
What was it then?
It was acceptance. Just this moment of stopping and saying, okay, this is it. This is where I am today, this body I'm in right now.
Not fighting it anymore, just acknowledging.
Exactly. And in that moment, letting go of the fight, the control, it felt like something just cracked open. It didn't magically fix everything overnight, but it created space.
Space to breathe.
Yeah, space to breathe, space to feel maybe a tiny bit of kindness for myself, space to feel proud just for showing up,
Yeah.
Even before feeling healed, healing really started when I chose kindness over control. It really hit home that idea you mentioned. You don't have to earn healing. You just have to be willing to receive it, often by softening that resistance.
Gosh, that feeling of self-blame or the forced positivity, feeling like a failure if you need practical help. I know so many people listening get that. That pressure is real.
It absolutely is. Which brings us perfectly to these common myths about health and healing that come up again and again in the materials we looked at. Busting them can feel like clearing out static,
Yeah.
making room for real healing.
Okay, let's do it. Myth busting time.
All right. Myth number 1, my symptoms are punishment. This is that deep, often unconscious belief that if you're sick or struggling mentally, is because you did something wrong. You're being punished somehow.
Like karma's catching up or your body's mad at you.
Right.
This idea that pain or illness or even just feeling down means you've failed somehow.
Like spiritually failed, or you're being punished, or you messed up your manifestation practice.
It sounds harsh saying it out loud, but internally, that's how it feels for so many. Like, why am I sick if I'm doing all the right things?
Doesn't this prove I'm out of alignment?
Yeah.
But the truth, seen through these lenses, is actually gentler and way more empowering. Symptoms are just feedback.
Feedback, not judgment.
Exactly. They're communication from your body. It's trying to tell you something maybe about stress or unprocessed emotion or some kind of imbalance.
I love that reframe. My symptoms are feedback, not punishment. I can respond with compassion, not guilt. It changes everything.
It really does. Instead of shame, you get curious. Okay, body, what's the message here?
Think about Abraham Hicks' view. They say negative emotion is always just about your vibrational relationship. It's not a judgment.
Right.
It's more like a guidance system. Like, hey, you're veering off course a bit from what you want. It's not about controlling the outside world, but managing your internal vibration.
So it's like your body or emotions are just holding up a sign, saying, hey, pay attention here. Something's a bit off relative to well-being.
Exactly. Rather than you're bad and you deserve this.
Yeah.
And Jose Silva's work comes at it from a slightly different angle, but connects. He talks about the guilt complex as a major stressor that actually harms the immune system.
Interesting.
He links health issues to internal conflict, like not agreeing with yourself, contradicting your own values. But again, it's not presented as a moral failing.
It's more like a biological or energetic consequence.
Precisely. A consequence of that internal resistance or contradiction.
Yeah.
So whether it's a vibrational mismatch or internal guilt creating stress.
The symptom is the signal, the feedback.
Yeah.
not proof you're flawed or being punished.
Exactly. And that changes everything, doesn't it? Healing stops being about fixing some personal failing or repenting.
And becomes more about listening. Listening to that conversation your body is trying to have with you.
Yes. And responding with compassion, not judgment or guilt.
So the reframe here is pretty crucial. My symptoms are feedback, not punishment. I can respond with compassion, not guilt.
Love that. And a really simple, practical tool one source suggested is an emotional inventory journal.
Okay.
Just taking a few minutes, maybe each day, just to check in. Like, what emotions have been dominant lately? What might my body be trying to communicate through these sensations gently?
Just listening. Okay, so symptoms are feedback, not punishment. That's a huge shift.
It really is.
But if it's feedback, doesn't that kind of imply that if I just think better thoughts, I'll get better? Which seems like the next logical step. And our next myth.
Ah, yes. Myth number 2. Positive thinking is all I need to heal.
This one is everywhere. Just force happy thoughts, say affirmations nonstop, vibe high, and boom, problem solved.
Right. Just choose happy. Just think happy thoughts and everything will be fine. If you're sick, you're just not being positive enough.
And look, positive emotions, absolutely beneficial, huge impact. But forcing positivity when you feel awful, that creates internal conflict. Abraham Hicks calls it contradicted energy or emotional static.
It's like trying to tune into a happy radio station when your radio is full of static.
Kind of. You're vibrating low but pretending high. It creates resistance. Jose Silva also noted that internal conflict, like knowing smoking is bad but doing it anyway, can create confusion, even a guilt complex, potentially weakening the immune system.
So trying to slap a smiley sticker on genuine pain actually gets in the way of healing.
Pretty much, yeah. Because it's dishonest, internally. Real healing needs honesty, emotional congruence, allowing yourself to feel what you feel while gently reaching for a thought that feels just a little bit better.
Right. Abraham Hicks talks about that reaching for relief, not necessarily instant bliss.
Exactly. It's about managing your vibration by finding the next better feeling thought, not leaping from despair to joy in one go.
That plus regulating your nervous system, addressing the underlying stuff.
Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the science here, right? Why just forcing positive thoughts doesn't always land.
He does. He explains how your thoughts and feelings literally create your state of being, and your body gets programmed, largely subconsciously. It gets almost addicted to familiar emotional states, even the negative ones. And here's the kicker. You only really accept thoughts that match your current emotional state.
Ah, okay. So if my body's feeling, say, anxious or miserable, repeating I am perfectly healthy and calm might just bounce off because it doesn't match the feeling.
Pretty much. It's incongruent. The thought doesn't match the feeling, and the body tends to believe the feeling more.
So you have to break that addiction to the old feeling first.
Yes. That's key for self-regulation, getting the autonomic nervous system back in balance. And that takes conscious awareness, managing your attention, retraining those responses, not just pretending.
And Abraham Hicks kind of echoes this too, right? Not about pretending, but reaching for a better feeling thought.
Exactly. The best feeling thought you have access to right now, from wherever you are, it's incremental.
Like climbing a ladder, not jumping to the top.
Precisely. Making peace with where you are is part of it. You can't just skip the steps with forced cheerfulness.
Trying to just vibe your way out of really hard days often didn't cut it.
No, it was the self-soothing, the listening to the body, acknowledging the tough stuff first that seemed to allow the shifts. It really is more like a conversation than a performance.
Okay, so the reframe for this one feels much more gentle, more allowing.
Yeah. I can feel everything I feel and still move toward relief.
I like that. It validates the difficult feelings, but keeps the door open for progress.
And a tool that can help bridge that gap is maybe combining something like a focus wheel with a symptom tracker.
How would that work?
Well, the focus wheel helps you gently pivot towards slightly better feeling thoughts, incrementally. And tracking both those emotional shifts and any physical symptoms lets you see the real, sometimes subtle progress.
Instead of forcing a huge outcome or pretending you feel amazing when you don't.
Exactly. It honors the process.
Okay, so it's not about being a manifestation robot. It's about honest, emotional navigation, gently moving towards relief from where you actually are. All right, so symptoms are feedback. Forced positivity isn't the whole answer. What about the type of help we seek? Does healing have to be purely natural to count?
Ah, myth number 3.
Healing must be natural to be valid.
This is the one that says using conventional medicine, meds, therapy, surgery somehow makes your healing less spiritual, less authentic, compared to only using natural or energy methods.
This can create so much internal conflict, can it? If you're exploring spiritual ideas, but you also need medication or find therapy really helpful.
Yeah, does that mean you're failing? Or not spiritual enough? It creates so much unnecessary guilt.
It really does. It's a harmful myth. The truth, from a broader view, is that all support is valid if it comes from love and actually helps you heal. Inspired action isn't just herbs and energy work.
Right.
It can absolutely be the inspiration to call a doctor or find a good therapist or listen to medical advice. Healing is holistic. There's no ladder where spiritual stuff is higher than medical help when you need it.
All support is valid if it comes from a place of self-love and informed choice. Inspired action can absolutely include conventional medical care alongside complementary practices.
Even someone like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who focuses so much on mind-body work.
Exactly. Even he talks about balancing the physical, chemical, and emotional. He mentions exercise, nutrition, blood tests, standard health things alongside the meditation. His work is actually helping bridge that gap, with doctors getting interested. And Jose Silva saw it as, well, medicine working from the outside in, the mind from the inside out.
Yeah, like repulsion versus attraction.
Right. And Silva believed the best approach is using your mind to work with whatever the doctor's doing. It's not either.
It's both hand. It's like the rise of integrative medicine, right? Blending conventional and complementary.
Precisely. Research shows that blended approach often improves outcomes and how patients feel about their care. It treats the whole person.
And Jose Silva had that interesting take too, using mind training to help doctors, like a partnership.
Yeah, he saw it as the mind working from within and medicine working from without, and they should meet in the middle. He wasn't a fan of relying only on external treatments without engaging the mind's power too.
So it's not about choosing sides between natural and medical.
Not at all. It's about embracing all the tools that feel supportive for you right now. You're not less spiritual for needing therapy or medication. Those can be incredibly loving, inspired actions.
The reframe, then, is really liberating. All support is valid when it comes from love. Inspired action includes real-world tools.
Exactly. And a simple tool here could be an inspired support inventory.
What's that?
Just listing out everything you're doing for your well-being. Spiritual practices, yes, but also doctor visits, therapy, specific foods, movement, even just talking to supportive friends.
And seeing it all as valid.
Yeah, looking at that list and acknowledging that each thing chosen from a place of self-care is a valid, loving step on your journey, no judgment needed.
Okay, integrating honest feedback, authentic emotions, and all forms of loving support. That makes sense. Okay, finally, myth #4, I can't feel better until I'm fully healed. This is the belief that feeling good is like a prize you get only at the finish line. You have to slog through the misery first.
This one keeps us stuck. Because if feeling good is only the reward at the end, you delay the very feeling that actually helps you heal.
Exactly. Abraham Hicks hammers this home. Feeling better now should be the main goal. The better you feel, the faster wellness and other good things flow to you. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research backs this up biologically.
The gratitude and immune system link.
Yeah, practicing elevated emotions like gratitude actually boosts things like immunoglobulin A, an immune marker. He says it's easier to receive healing or experience change when you're already in that state of gratitude, already feeling good.
In your story about acceptance, that feeling of relief and kindness came before you were fully healed, and it opened the door.
Exactly. It was part of the process, not the end point. So the reframe is liberating. I don't have to wait to feel good. You can seek moments of joy and relief right now. It's part of the journey.
Okay, before we go to the next myth, let's introduce a little something we call manifestation debug mode.
Think of it like running diagnostics.
Exactly. It's a way to find those hidden blocks, those limiting beliefs that might be like messing with your abundance signal.
Clearing out the static, finding the glitches in your programming, things running in the background you don't even realize are there.
And often, those glitches, they're these sneaky myths we've been talking about, old beliefs we picked up somewhere.
Right. So let's switch on manifestation debug mode.
Okay, activating debug mode.
The bug in the system.
Ah, yes, the big one.
This belief. If I accept my body or health condition, I'm giving up on getting better.
Ugh. This feels like the hardest one for so many people. Acceptance sounds like resignation, doesn't it? Like giving up the fight.
Exactly. Surely you have to fight illness, resist it. That programming runs deep.
It really does.
So why is fighting or resisting so counterproductive then? What's happening there?
Well, energetically, resistance creates static. Abraham Hicks says pushing against what you don't want actually activates it, keeps wellness out.
Hmm.
And biologically, Dr. Dispenza's work points to releasing resistance like chronic stress, being stuck in fight or flight as essential for the body to even begin healing and return to balance. Fighting uses up energy needed for repair. But the, let's say, debugged view. Acceptance isn't defeat, it's alignment. It's actually the first step towards change.
Like needing to know where you are on the map before you can find your way.
Exactly. You can't get unlost until you admit where you are. Abraham Hicks points out, focusing on what you don't want just keeps its vibration active. Acceptance quiets that resistance to what is.
And that creates the space for things to actually shift. Your story about letting go of control is a perfect example. Acceptance wasn't giving up, it was the catalyst.
Yeah.
So there's this mantra, kind of like an energetic reset button you can try. Maybe say to yourself, looking in the mirror, hand on your heart, or just silently, I can accept where I am without giving up on where I'm going.
Just letting that sink in. It can really shift the internal static, can it?
Definitely. Okay, so let's weave these threads together. We've got letting go of blame, valuing authentic emotion, harnessing your inner state's power, committing to the process with consistency, and finding freedom in acceptance.
It paints a picture of healing that's maybe less linear, more like the healing spiral was a phrase used. Sometimes you circle inward to work on something, but the overall movement is upward, forward.
And spiritually, the idea isn't that illness means you're broken. Maybe it's energy asking for transformation. The invitation here is really one of integration.
Trust your body's intelligence. Trust your energy's intelligence. Let them work together. Healing isn't usually just one thing.
No. It could be meditation and your prescription, a walk outside and therapy, laughter and visualization, whatever supports your whole being.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've unpacked some myths, reframed some beliefs. Maybe let's take a moment now to ground this a bit deeper. How about a short guided meditation?
Great idea. Meditation is such a powerful way to support healing on all levels, biological, energetic. It helps create that inner safety, that calm, regulates the nervous system. All crucial for healing.
Let's just take a moment now.
Just to come home to your body.
Remembering that healing doesn't always require striving. Sometimes it just asks for presence.
Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose.
Gently release it through your mouth.
Let your shoulders soften, dropping away from your ears.
Release any tension in your jaw.
Just allow any thoughts to float by, like clouds in a big open sky. No need to grab onto them.
Now gently bring your awareness inwards to the center of your chest, heart space.
Just imagine or feel a soft, warm light residing there.
Maybe it's golden like sunlight.
Or perhaps a calming blue, healing green, or a soft rose color. Whatever feels right for you.
Just know that this is your light, your innate well-being. It's always been here.
Untouched by any symptoms, any stories. This light isn't broken. It doesn't need fixing.
It just wants to be felt,
Yeah.
to be acknowledged by you.
And with each gentle breath you take, just imagine this light softly growing, expanding naturally.
Radiating warmth from your heart,
Outwards.
through your chest, your shoulders, down your spine,
Your arms,
down through your torso, your hips,
filling your legs, your feet.
and gently rising up into your neck, your head.
Letting your whole being fill with this soft, healing light.
As you feel this light, just gently whisper to yourself inside.
You are not your symptoms.
You are not your pain.
You are not behind. You're not off track.
You are right on time, right here in this moment.
Feel the truth of these affirmations settling in, carried by the light.
I am safe to rest.
I am open to relief. I am supported in every direction, seen and unseen.
I don't have to earn my healing. It is already beginning, right here, right now.
That feeling, that light, just soak into your bones, your tissues, your cells.
Imagine it whispering a message of deep calm and repair.
We are healing. We are ready. We are loved.
Take one more slow, deep breath in, filling yourself completely with this light, this message.
Breathe out, releasing anything heavy, anything that no longer serves.
And gently, when you're ready, just begin to bring your awareness back to the space around you.
You wiggle your fingers and toes slightly,
Just take your time coming back.
remembering that you are a healing masterpiece, always in progress.
You are never, ever alone on this journey. Welcome back. Hope that felt grounding, maybe offered a little peace.
Yeah, hope so. That state, that sense of inner safety and worthiness, that's really where the science and spirit connect so beautifully, isn't it?
It really is.
And that connection we just tapped into, the link between our inner state, our feelings, and our physical body, that's something science is really digging into now.
Absolutely. There's a whole field, psychoneuroimmunology, PNI for short, studying exactly that, how the brain, the immune system, the endocrine system, they're all talking to each other constantly.
So it's not just a nice idea, it's actual biology.
It really is. Take chronic stress, for instance. It's not just a feeling, right? It triggers the HPA axis, pumps out cortisol. Over time, too much cortisol suppresses the immune system, messes with digestion, sleep, repair. It can literally contribute to getting sick.
And trauma, too, can get stored in the body.
Yeah, a somatic memory. It can show up as things like chronic inflammation or unexplained pain, which is why nervous system regulation is so key.
Things like polyvagal theory explore that, right?
Exactly. Stephen Porges' work helps us understand how our nervous system is always scanning for safety. Healing happens best when we feel safe, calm in that parasympathetic state. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, gentle movement, they help shift us out of that fight or flight stress mode that hinders healing.
And we talked about forced positivity being counterproductive. But genuine positive feelings are different.
Totally different. Researchers like Barbara Fredrickson talk about how genuine positive emotions, joy, gratitude, hope, awe, they actually broaden our thinking, build resilience. They can improve nervous system regulation, even reduce inflammation, partly via the vagus nerve.
And Dr. Dispenza's work on gratitude boosting immunity.
Right. Showing measurable increases in things like immunoglobulin A, just from practicing gratitude. It's amazing.
And the power of belief, too, the placebo effect.
Huge. Ted Kapchuk's research at Harvard is fascinating. Just the belief in a treatment can trigger real healing responses in the brain. And the flip side, the nocebo effect, where negative expectations make things worse. It shows how much our beliefs shape our physical reality.
So when we talked about myths creating static or internal conflict, science shows how that literally plays out in our bodies.
Precisely. Dr. Joe Dispenza's work is all about how our thoughts and feelings create a state of being, which conditions the body. Change the state. You can change the biology, even gene expression. He teaches achieving brain-heart coherence for healing. Marisa Peer's work, like commanding the body's intelligence. Jose Silva, using the mind, the alpha state, to boost immunity and work with medicine. It all points the same way.
Mind and body are deeply connected.
And maybe even connected collectively. Dispenza touches on quantum ideas, the field responding to who we are being, and collective consciousness, like in group healing studies. Or remote healing.
Like the study with autistic children.
Yeah, suggesting our inner state might even ripple out, which connects to why integrative medicine is growing, blending conventional and complementary approaches. Big places like Mayo Clinic, Memorial Sloan Kettering, they recognize treating the whole person, mind, body, spirit. Medical support is absolutely part of that holistic picture.
So really, whether you lean more scientific or more spiritual, the message is consistent. Our inner world, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, nervous system, it's profoundly linked to our physical health and healing.
It's all one integrated system.
Just to anchor this again in science, remember those terms we mentioned?
Yeah, psychoneuroimmunology.
How mind, nerves, immune system talk.
The HPA axis.
The stress response.
The vagus nerve.
The key for calm and healing.
Polyvagal theory.
Understanding safety's role.
Broaden and build.
Real positive emotions build resilience.
Placebo effect.
Beliefs power.
And integrative medicine.
Treating the whole you. These fields provide a scientific basis for these mind-body connections.
And if you want to dig deeper, resources mentioned include books like The Body Keeps the Score, The Myth of Normal, researchers like Barbara Fredrickson, organizations like HeartMath Institute, government sites like nccis.gov, or looking into integrative medicine clinics.
Okay, as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's hold on to that understanding.
And please remember this. You are not your symptoms. You are not behind schedule in your healing journey. You are whole, you are worthy right now, just as you are.
And true healing, based on everything we've explored, seems to involve, well, honesty with yourself, emotional congruence, tending to your nervous system.
Yeah, letting go of that forced positivity, that need for rigid control.
Embracing acceptance, self-compassion, seeing symptoms as feedback.
And knowing that all kinds of support, spiritual, medical, emotional, are valid and valuable.
And that key insight again, you don't have to earn your healing.
You just have to be willing to receive it. It's already moving towards you.
So, as you sit with all this, here's maybe one last thought to chew on. If consciousness is maybe collective, if observation can influence reality, what difference could your personal journey of acceptance and healing make? Not just for you, but maybe for the larger human potential. How does your inner shift contribute?
Something to ponder. We would genuinely love to hear your reflections. After listening today, is there maybe one belief about health or healing that you feel ready to release? Let us know in the comments or send us a message.
Yeah, we'd love that. And if this conversation resonated, please think about subscribing, maybe leaving a review, or sharing it with someone who might find it helpful.
Next time, we're wrapping up our myth-busting series. It's the final part. The guru myth, debunking the idea of one true path. That one should be interesting.
It definitely should be. Until then, hold this close. Your healing is sacred, and it's already in motion.